In today's video, I'm going to show you a very simple but effective memory technique that over time has improved my memory despite previously having extremely bad memory created by mental health issues. Hi, and welcome back to Mental Health Power. So this technique is known as the memory palace, and I believe it was mentioned in the Sherlock Holmes books, and I also believe that some of the ancient Greek writers and philosophers used to use this. And this is because ultimately they have relied completely on their minds, and they didn't obviously have the kind of technology back then. So these kind of techniques were extremely effective for memorizing things, but I think now using these actually, I believe, can help to improve our memory in the long run. And this is even when you have issues like how I did, such as depersonalization, which really affected my memory so bad that I couldn't even remember things people told me sometimes like 5 seconds before. So I'm going to show you exactly what this technique is and how to use it. And then I'm going to explain why I believe theoretically it actually improved my memory in the long run. So the first thing to understand is this technique does rely on having a mind that is very good at visualization. Now, if you do find visualization very difficult, I still think that it's worth practicing and trying this out, because I do believe the more we practice something, the better it becomes. That includes visualization. So I naturally have had always a very active or overactive imagination and vivid dreams, for example. So for me, this was perfect. So essentially the memory palace goes like this. So you want to think of, let's say you're going shopping and you want to remember 5 things on your list. So I used to find this really difficult. I always used to have to write things down. But there were occasions where I'd have to still remember 5 things and I didn't have a chance to write things down. So this is what the technique is. You firstly want to visualize a room in your home or somewhere where you can very easily remember exactly how the room looks. So ideally you want it to be something like your home, your office, like a bedroom, something like that. And then you want to think of 5 pieces of furniture that are significant. So something like a bed, a sofa, shelves, for example, a cabinet, TV, something like that. And it needs to be something big because those are more easily memorable and are less likely to have been moved around. So you don't want to remember small things like a lamp, for example, or like a pillow, for example, or like a small cushion, something like that. And we really mean big and obvious items of furniture. And so then what you want to do is to number them. So let's say this is a shelf, so we'll say that's number 1. Let's say this is a sofa, number 2. Let's say that's another shelf, so that's 3. Let's say this is some kind of storage, so 4. And then let's say this is another sofa, so that's 5. So let's say you're going shopping and you want to buy 5 things. So let's say the first thing you want to buy are lemons, for example. So what I would do is, so what you want to do is, what we're doing is we are associating the thing we want to buy with the piece of furniture and the number. So firstly, always number the pieces of furniture in a clockwise direction. That's the way that you know which way you're starting. So the moment you walk into a room, you then want to say, okay, what items are immediately on my left and going clockwise? That's how you number these things. So this way it works in no matter what room you're in. You come in and you visualize yourself, go into a room, whatever items are on the left, you pick the main significant ones and you start numbering them in a clockwise direction. So cabinet, let's say this is a shelf, that's number 1. So then what you want to do is, if we take lemons as the first thing on the shopping list, you want to visualize the lemons on the shelves. So sometimes I'd visualize a big lemon on each of the shelves, and I would really think about feeling the texture, the smell. So what you want to do is, you're giving your mind as much data as possible, as much sensory data attached to the visualization and also the shelves, so the item of furniture. But you can go further than this. You don't have to limit it to just the actual literal visualization of the item. What I do, because I find this works extremely well, is I imagine specific fictional characters that I immediately associate with the item. So for example, with lemons, if you've seen the TV show Adventure Time, you'll know there's a character called Lemon Grab, who's literally like a humanoid lemon. So I imagine Lemon Grab on the actual shelf. So we could say, let's just put LG for Lemon Grab. And let's say then, so that becomes a lot easier for my mind to remember because I have a more visual mind. I'll remember that instead of remembering a whole list of words. Some people, that's just normal, they can remember a list of words. But for me, my mind works really well with images and visuals. So let's say number 2, I want to get Greek yogurt. So I always associate the character Wonder Woman with Greek mythology. So I'll just imagine Wonder Woman eating some Greek yogurt on the sofa. So we'll say, okay, that's Wonder Woman. So the next time I immediately think, so next time I'll know Wonder Woman is there. Let's say for number 3, I want to buy some spinach. So I immediately think of the character Popeye. So let's say that's P for Popeye for number 3. Number 4, let's say I want to buy some kind of stir-fry sauce. So when I think of Fry, I think of the character from Futurama, Fry. So put Fry there. And number 5, let's say I want to buy some coconut milk. So, okay, I'm not sure off the top of my head what I would do for a coconut, but now I've got the visualization of a palm tree. So I'm just going to go with a palm tree so I can visualize a palm tree on top of the sofa. So I often go with whatever my mind presents to me because I think that's the quickest association it makes. So what this means is if you may have to spend a few moments each time really visualizing to, you could say, encode the data on each of these visualization points. I think you can call these different stations. And so what I found, which is really interesting, is like if somebody told me next week, can you remember these? I probably would. But if it was from a list, I wouldn't necessarily remember. I think my mind just works differently like that. So I suspect other people also have this way of thinking. So what I found was, through doing this, I could recall things so much easier. So you may think, okay, well, that's just 5 things. What happens if I want more? That's okay. You just go to another room in your house or whatever building it's in, and you can carry on. So you can say, okay, well, I'll walk into this next room, and then you go, okay, well, the thing I see on my left is 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, technically, you don't have to limit yourself to 5 items per room, but that's just a lot more manageable. I'm sure some people can do way more. So you do the same thing again. You add other things from your list, wherever they are, and then visualize them, add your sensory data, so how it smells, how it feels, how it would taste, if it's food, for example. And then you can basically, through this way, encode. You're basically like storing information. And I found, yeah, I could a week later go, what did I put on my list? And somehow, because I guess my mind is very visual, I would see those same characters come up again. And I would immediately know, oh yeah, it was meant to be Lemon Grab for lemon, Wonder Woman for the Greek yogurt. I remember number 4 was Fry. I remember number 3 was it Popeye? I had to look there, but it's fine. And then the palm tree for the coconuts. So when you do this properly, the most interesting thing was when I kept doing this over and over again and I got better and better, a really interesting thing happened, because this is more of a short-term memory hack, we could say. But I found when I kept doing this for like, I don't know how many months I did it for, maybe a couple of months, I actually noticed my general memory got better. And so I think what happened was because memory, because mental health issues like depersonalization, anxiety, depression had already so severely affected my short-term memory for so many years, I think that created the belief that even when those issues went away, that I still had this, you could say, limiting belief left over that my memory wasn't good. So you could say through this memory palace technique, it's almost like it was retraining my memory to go back to how it used to be. But also it was releasing that limiting belief of having a bad memory. So really with this, as with all the other things I talk about, it takes persistence. Now, if you don't have good visualization, I don't know honestly what to say, to be honest, because I've always had really good ability to visualize. But I suspect there is a way to practice visualization first. And then when you get good at that, you can probably start doing this. I also do wonder though, maybe if you drew it out on a piece of paper first, maybe that would actually help it to stick in your head more instead of writing down the actual list as words. So yeah, that's the memory palace technique. I hope this helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment below if you have other kind of memory techniques that we can explore as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.